Good evening. Now, back in the late 60s, Nissan, or Datsun as they were called back then, decided to make a sports car. This is it, the 240Z. It was a very simple recipe. 3 parts E-Type Jaguar, 2 parts Corvette, and a sprinkling of Japanese reliability. Fabulous car. But unfortunately, they kept changing it, and each time they changed it, they made it a little bit worse. There was the 260Z, which was plump, the 280Z, which was John Prescott, and then finally they ended up with this enormous thing, the 300ZX. Marlon Brando, really. The horror. The horror. And I believe we've been joined here by some people from the Nissan Z Club, yes?
Yes.
Which is yours?
The 280.
And what in the name of all that's holy possessed you to buy that?
I bought it 15 years ago and it looked good then.
It didn't look good, it's beige with red seats. Are you from Birmingham?
Yes, how did you guess?
Oh, it explains it all. And you've got one as well?
I have, sir, yeah.
And you've got a beard. And you're from the Z Club?
Yes, indeed.
And you've got a beard. There, that explains the Z car. Happily, however, Nissan has now gone back to basics with the 350Z. And I was so keen to give this a go that when the very first one arrived in Britain months ago, I grabbed the keys and went for a drive. Part of the reason why Nissan's Z cars became so fat and so heavy over the years is that they were designed principally for the American market. And the ideal American car, as I'm sure you know, is an enormous sofa. This one, however, wasn't just designed for the Americans, it was designed in America, in California, home of the palm-fringed, no-smoking, 6-lane boulevard. And that's great, except we don't have any of that here. What we have is Sheffield. So, how does the surfer boy go down in the steel town? Well, to be honest, I think it looks a bit of a mess. But then it would, because it's a Japanese car designed in America, and the head of the whole project was a chap called A.J. Panchal, who's an Indian, from Leicester. And the engine? Well, that's French. Incongruously, it's the 3.5-litre V6 from the Renault Velsatis. We've had fusion food before, but this is the first time that I've ever encountered a fusion car. Think of it as being a raw hamburger curry served in a disinterested way on a bed of garlicky juice. Not that you can concentrate on the ingredients because of the stereo. You don't hear it so much as feel it, pulsating through an enormous subwoofer in the small of your back. If you're the sort of person who likes to cruise the streets, annoying everyone with your drum and bass, this is definitely the car for you. I'm afraid, however, I'm more interested in how a car goes. So I pointed its nose at the road which snakes out of Sheffield and up onto the moors. It doesn't take very long to work out that this car has a few weak links. And the biggest, weakest link of them all is the French bit, the engine. First of all, there's the noise, which is just a noise. A sort of wearisome drone, listen. Just gets on your nerves. And then there's the performance. They say it'll do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds and on to a top speed of 150, and I'm sure it will, but it never really feels that fast, somehow. There's something else too. When you look at the 350Z, you think it's going to be light and agile and sporty. I was expecting it to be like a Nikon camera, all kind of delicate and clever. I thought it'd be like a Mazda MX-5, but with more power. And it just isn't. Not even slightly. What it is a 1.5 tons of ironmongery. It's a muscle car. Which should be good fun on a road like this. I could go very, very berserk at this point, but two things are stopping me. One, the noise. It's driving me mad. And secondly, it was on this very road that the drummer with a band called Def Leppard crashed his muscle car, a Corvette, and as a result of that, he now has to drive with a knob on his steering wheel. I also have to say that after a day behind the wheel, I am knackered. A hard ride and the effort of driving it makes it one of the most exhausting cars I've ever come across. And I haven't finished mauling it yet, either. The look of the interior is fine. Got a big rev counter right in front of me, 3 ancillary dials over here, driving position's good. But what's not so good is this. I've seen better build quality on an allotment shed. Now let's talk about practicality. There isn't any. It has no back seats at all, just a sort of bulkhead to which all the various speakers are attached. And if we open the boot, we find an enormous strengthening beam where your dog would normally go. All things considered then, the 350 is a C-. 3 out of 10. Could do better.
So, no good then?
Not really.
And the thing is, there's no shortage of sports coupes coming up. There's the Mazda RX-8, which is very nice.
Yeah, Wankel rotary engine.
Very good engine. Audi TT, they're putting a V6 in that with a clever gearbox thing. There's the Chrysler Crossfire.
That's a Mercedes SLK with an American body on it, yeah.
The point being, it's not exactly got the feel to itself, has it?
Well, no, but the thing is that Nissan have now said, aha, but the car you drove was sort of for a small market in the south of France or somewhere. The British ones, which are going on sale in...
That's September, October.
Yeah, September, October, are going to have better suspension, bigger fuel tank, different aerodynamics, better interior trim, traction controller stand, could be completely different.
Which rather begs the question, why didn't they say, there's a new car, see what you think? It won't be anything like that, obviously, but there it is anyway.
Nevertheless, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll hope the British ones are better, and then when we get a British one, then we'll give it to the Stig.
Right.